one best of 3 series.
Yeah, which is,
and it's not even the finals.
Yeah, exactly. It's absolutely nuts. These guys have put so many games under their belt, and it's exactly why they've reached the caliber of tamer that they are today, right? Well, let's see. Both of these guys rocking the 𝗧𝗵𝗶. It looks like Ricky Tan having the Sapphire difference there. But Mr. Rishi, he won with this team, or very similar team, won it a couple weeks ago. 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗶. Looking pretty good into swapping into something like that 𝗧𝗵𝗶. But little Asia does have a 𝗬𝗀𝗀 and a 𝗬𝗀𝗀 for those toxic Temtems. So it looks like 𝗬𝗀𝗀 for the 𝗧𝗵𝗶, for the 𝗬𝗀𝗀, or not the 𝗬𝗀𝗀, for the 𝗬𝗫𝗀𝗀, and maybe even for the 𝗬𝗀𝗺 if it's fast enough. Easy first pick, not too shabby there.
Yeah, I mean, 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀 is so good. For Rishi, he still has a lot of options despite losing the Nagulder. I mean, Gulder itself is still not a bad choice, as it takes the physical hits from 𝗧𝗵𝗶 and 𝗂𝗫 fairly well. And, you know, in some worlds has Madness buff Toxic Gas to do some AoE onto a mix.
Very true.
Just saying, that's a possibility.
Yeah, always a possibility. You got to be on your toes when you're in the semifinals. But 𝗵𝗶𝗃, just to put some good pressure back onto the 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀, does get picked up. And what is he thinking? Did he hear you, Rawrzyyy? Is he saying, you know what? I will Madness buff turn 1. But we'll see. I mean, 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀, not feeling all that bad, but that means little Asia could just scoop up either the 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀 or the 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀, because both of those wind Temtems pressure out both of those toxic Tems. So we'll see. I mean, 𝗬𝗀𝗺 is to really pressure out the 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀. 𝗬𝗫𝗀, I guess, checks the wind Temtems. Decisions. Mr. Rishi, okay, just keeping it super traditional. So does pick up the 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. So how does little Asia want to reciprocate? You know what? The Scunch doesn't feel all that bad into this board, but maybe wants to guarantee one of his wind Temps for sure. Maybe just goes
Scunch
𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀,
is
right?
definitely nice. It can be kind of scary bringing a physical Tem in front of Tenderness. I mean, we did just see Scunch does have chamomile, so there could always be Tenderness P-Jabs that get wiped away on re-entry. So that might be why Scunch was picked up next. It's just the best option to not take those hits. I think 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 would have also been a pretty decent option, especially if he's running Strange Vest. You know, those Nox bombs from 𝗬𝗀𝗀 wouldn't be accomplishing all that much.
That is so true, but it looks like Mr. Rishi not really feeling the pressure from the 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, from the 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, and instead going to be banning that 𝗬𝗀𝗀 and the 𝗧𝗵𝗶, so not too bad. Valuing his crystal Temtems, valuing that 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 of his own. So we'll see. I mean, we all know. Oh, actually, no. Ricky Tan usually with a lot of melee, but is Mr. Rishi today rocking with 3 melee Temtems? Not too bad. Of course, 𝗬𝗀𝗀 to scare away the Sapphire, and the 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 does get picked up. But now it is semifinals time. Little Asia versus Mr. Rishi. Both of these guys have won the championship before, so they of course have what it takes. Who's going to be sharper today? Who's going to make the riskier plays? And who's going to win it in this best of 3 series? Let's see what these guys are going to bring to the table for the very first game of the set.
So it has to be said here, because of this mix on Ricky's side, Rishi has to think before he P-Jab Feather Gatlings. That's not as safe as one might think, because a very squishy mix would be knocked into Puppet Master after a perfect jab Feather Gatling.
Wow.
That would be pretty detrimental from turn 1 immediately, if Ricky were able to get that accomplished. But no, the 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 comes out. That means Wreck is available before Mix ever gets to set foot. 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 swaps out. It is the mix. That might have been the goal, expecting that 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 to be taking the perfect jab. It was the perfect recipient. But no, just a Feather Gatling on its own. It's not enough to bring Mix down in there. Only 60% remaining, though. Perfect jab onto 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 is very nice. And 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 pressures out this Mix immediately. So that was very well read from Rishi.
Yeah, I think good reads from both sides. Protecting the 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 for that 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 𝗧𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 a little bit down the road. And yeah, protecting the 𝗵𝗃, just in case, as you said, the P-Jab would have gone onto the Mix. So well done for both sides. Now this Mix and the Scunch, I'm feeling a bit in a tough position. Of course, Mix could get a good crystal spike off on the 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 And if it's at -2 special defense, it just might take it all the way down. However, as you said, 𝗧𝗵𝗺 is online, and Mix is just hanging out at 61%. If he brings in something like 𝗧𝗪𝗀𝗃 able to outspeed the Mix, it might bring it all the way down. So both sides have a lot of damage potential to dish out. Who's gonna pull the trigger though?
It's definitely a balancing act of the reads. I mean, the cage from Mix means he really doesn't want to leave in front of this 𝗧𝗵𝗺. That could be kind of terrifying if the Rek comes through. Savage suplex onto the 𝗧𝗵𝗺 does more than half. He is really hoping for this heat up, but no, it's the Rek. That is a very dead Mix.
Yeah, and the HP just completely disappeared. Heat up or not, I think he would just prepare to cage both of these Tems and then bring out a counter Temtem. I guess the 𝗵𝗺 doesn't feel all that bad, which is exactly the Temtem he brings out. And you know, the Scunch opener looking so strong. Something like Ninja Jutsu is online now. 𝗧𝗲𝗺𝗃, of course, if he's running it, could be online, of course, if he is running it. But yeah, we do know Ninja is online, and something like Energy Manip, Ninja Jutsu should take care of the 𝗧𝗵𝗺, but maybe he just wants to gun down the Voldrin with something like Hypoxia, just because it's -1 special defense. So what does he elect to do?
HKS does target this Scunch with such low special defense. It does quite a lot of damage. Although now that is -2. Ninja Jutsu hitting Voldrin instead of the 𝗧𝗵𝗺. It's enough to bring it down, which means 𝗧𝗵𝗺 is definitely in danger from this 𝗵𝗺. The Dinmok goes first, so it is a guaranteed kill on Scunch. Trade for trade, death for death. But this is 2 Tems dead on each side. No, the Wind Burst. He kept 𝗧𝗵𝗺 alive, overexerted. That was, if read and done on purpose, a fantastic play from Ricky.
Yeah, exactly. If that was done intentional, I have a feeling Little Asia was just making sure Voldrin goes down. But yeah, that -1 defense on that Voldrin making such an impact. You know, I was expecting the HP to stop going down, but it just kept going and going. And the Voldrin did go down. So well done. And yeah, now the 𝗧𝗵𝗺 doesn't let something like the Grumper also come in and is overexerted, so the pressure won't be there. It's only this 𝗬𝗎𝗓, and the only thing it has available to him currently will be the double gash, of course, so it's a rather free turn for Little Asia. He's 2 Temtems down, but has a bit of the momentum going into this turn number 4.
I'm curious if Rishi wants to try and save 𝗧𝗵𝗺 here. You know, with 𝗬𝗎𝗓 still around and with 𝗧𝗪 in the back, there is still synergy to make this 3 prio. Could potentially take down 𝗂𝗵𝗺 later.
Yeah, I could
Everyone
definitely
stays
see.
in though. Plague is a good start on this 𝗬𝗎𝗓, but Double Gas just does so much more. Wind Burst. If this 𝗵𝗺's fast enough, a Tornado could bring it down, but we did just see, I mean, both of them used normal prio moves. 𝗬𝗎𝗓 went first. Sharp Stabs, potentially enough to bring a 𝗵𝗺 down. There are definitely some squishy 500 speed, 500 special attack 𝗵𝗺s that still see quite a lot of play.
Yeah, we'll see. 𝗬𝗎𝗓 goes for it, but instead Sharp Stabs the Wolfie. Very interesting. So the Plague does connect on 𝗬𝗎𝗓, and so does the Tornado. So just completely ignoring the 𝗧𝗵𝗺. So does the 𝗧𝗵𝗺 get the uppercut kill? This is what Mr. Rishi was hoping for. 48%. Oh, barely enough. It looks like the War Drum making the difference. Well done. Hey, looks like a good even trade there.
Well, unfortunately for Ricky, I think that was GG, because there's no longer a way to take down this Grumper. You've just got a 𝗬𝗪𝗀𝗃, and that's not going to accomplish it. I mean, you won't even be able to survive long enough for an extinction to become available and kill this Grumper. So concession it is. Rishi takes game 1 off of a fantastic 𝗧𝗵𝗺 survival. Yeah, I don't know if that was you know, a missed detail on Ricky's side, letting 𝗬𝗎𝗓, you know, take both of those hits and 𝗧𝗵𝗺 survive. It could have just been, you know, potentially expecting a swap of some kind, or expecting 𝗵𝗺 to go down and it being forced to go down to Wolfie instead. it was definitely a difficult situation. They both did a fantastic job getting themselves to that point. And 𝗬𝗲 with a bit of a respect ban on 𝗬𝗏𝗀. Last time, I believe he banned 𝗬𝗵𝗶𝗴 first.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, 𝗬𝗏𝗀 was looking pretty good. Of course, that 𝗬𝗵𝗶𝗴 never really had troubles with the 𝗬𝗏𝗀 at the very end. But 𝗬𝗏𝗀 was making things difficult for that 𝗧𝗵𝗺, for the 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗺, so not a bad ban. And hey, the mix was pretty good, even though the 𝗧𝗵𝗺 rec took it down. Actually, wait a second. The mix wasn't all that great, but still getting picked up here. I guess just in case the 𝗬𝗃, 𝗬𝗚 come back out to play for Mr. 𝗬𝗏𝗀. Just having a good answer to potentially both of those Temtems. Crystal Spike for the 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗃, and then something like Side Surge potentially for the 𝗬𝗃 later on throughout the match. So not a bad idea, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think that it just came down to necessity here. Mix is pretty much required if Ricky wants to win this game. He needs it in on his team. It would definitely be taking the second ban if it's not picked. So picking it first just kind of is a blind read for 𝗬𝗏𝗀 now, where he gets to do what he wants, but you know, Ricky kind of gets to counter that with, because he is blue side. You know, otherwise he would have given 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗀 a pretty big advantage, showing him what he wants to use, and then being forced to pick Mix next to it.
Yeah, and I think Mr. 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗀's lineup right here was just a #1 answer to this 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗀, debating little Asia to bring out 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗀. He absolutely needs the 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀, as we saw, had no answers to the 𝗬𝗵𝗶𝗴. It's just basically the 𝗧𝗵𝗺 and the 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀, and I guess the 𝗬𝗃 also a good answer, so not completely out of the woods. But that 𝗧𝗵𝗺 and 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗺 is kind of scaring away the 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀. But what can he do? I mean, is this another 𝗬𝗃 pickup? It doesn't seem the worst.
𝗬𝗃 is definitely okay here. I feel like Ricky just has so many Tems that he really wants to see onto this game. 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀, I'm wondering if it just dies. I mean, we saw last time the double gash did like 45%, right? Somewhere around that 40 range. The uppercut as well, and then potential outspeeding the following turn with the sharp stabs might even be enough to bring 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀 down.
Yeah, and keep in mind that 𝗧𝗵𝗺 had War Drum, so that double gash from the 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗺 is going to be doing 8% additional damage. So maybe so, the 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀 might be going down with just a good 1-2 punch. You know, 𝗧𝗵𝗺 could have things like P-Jab, but I want to say just an uppercut into a double gash might be the closest thing of bringing the 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 down. Little Asia, knowing that, might have to swap out the 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 very early on, but that's exactly what 𝗧𝗵𝗺 wants to hear, right? So Mr. 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 having a very good opening turn, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, even this 𝗬𝗵𝗶𝗴 that Ricky was also kind of forced to pick due to that earth typing is not super happy against the other 𝗬𝗵𝗶𝗴 and hook kick of 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗺, you know, especially with the potential uppercuts of 𝗬𝗃 as the final pick as well. 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 has a fantastic team to counter some of Ricky's options here. There's always a choice for 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, while Ricky is sometimes having to sacrifice something just to stay relevant.
Yeah, I absolutely love Mr. 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀's team. So much answers to potential problems, but we'll see. Ricky Tan did make it here for a reason, so this is game number 2. Let's see how this 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 is gonna be faring on turn number 1. What can Little Asia perhaps swap out? Maybe, I mean, doesn't have the best answers. I'm thinking potentially the 𝗬𝗃 just to get those hold moves online. Because there's not really...
we did see the Savage Suplex did about half to 𝗧𝗵𝗺 previously, so
wait a minute,
that energy manipulation did quite a lot too. Plague as well. It's not enough to kill 𝗧𝗵𝗺 right away, but he is trapped in. He's pretty much guaranteed to go down now. The double gash does 39%. The uppercut from 61 down to 11. That is so much damage on both sides already.
That was big. What a great turn for both Tamers, getting each other down to exactly around the same HP. The only difference though, 𝗧𝗵𝗺 is locked in, and I believe, oh no, I was about to say, wait, did this Mix have the handcuff? But no, it was the handcuffs from the 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. So Mix could just rinse and repeat one more time. The only difference though, 𝗧𝗵𝗺 rec is online. That's 3 prio synergy with 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗺. I believe that should be faster than this Mix. And man, it would be even crazier if 𝗬𝗧 is the fastest Temtem, because I think the double gash did go first. So sharp stab and then 𝗧𝗵𝗶, and then the mix goes down before the energy manipulation. Oh.
So is it actually possible right now that 𝗬𝗧 could double gash again? Because it did go first, right? It went before the plague, right? So could he just double gash that spot, saying, you know, if 𝗂𝗵𝗴 comes in, I'm not going to be doing a crazy amount of damage even with a hook kick, and I don't want to waste that on 𝗬𝗵𝐵 if it stays. You know, I could always hook kick 𝗬𝗵𝗺 the following turn. 𝗬𝗪 is going to take it just fine. If no energy manipulation, so 𝗧𝗵𝗺 is going down. 𝗬𝗵𝐵 is looking very afraid, though. Crystal Bite, it outspeeds everything. Mix is from 100 down to 0, just like that. 𝗬𝗵𝐵 does get the DV off on 𝗬𝗧, though, so that'll be a good chunk of damage as well, potentially balancing out the scales a little bit more, as it's only a slight HP lead for Rishi now.
Yeah, and of course, if there's one Temtem, it would be Ricky Tan's Temtem to really be that speedy. So well done. No 𝗧𝗵𝗆, but it looks like the Crystal Bite, not too much defense or HP on that mix, not enough to live it anyhow. So 𝗬𝗧 does get the kill. However, that means 𝗂𝗵𝗺 coming in rather freely. 𝗬𝗧 doesn't really have anything to say about that. However, Mr. Rishi does have potential good swaps. One of them being that 𝗬𝗇 parrier trait, so good at eating up a lot of physical damage. And that is what 𝗂𝗵𝗺 would be dishing out. And who would have thought that this 𝗬𝗵𝐵 would still be alive here, as it started off looking rough for the 𝗬𝗵𝐵.
Yeah, it's only turn 3, but there's been a lot of death and destruction from just high aggression on everybody who's remaining in this tournament. Sharp stabs is enough to bring 𝗬𝗵𝐵 down. That means 𝗬𝗧 is likely falling to 𝗂𝗵𝗺 as well, unless this is just a very cheeky heat up. I mean, there's always the potential. Ricky does know he needs to get something going to deal damage to this 𝗬𝗺, but no, he does decide to take down 𝗬𝗬𝗧. It's 2 for 2 so far, with, again, just the slightest HP advantage for Rishi. But I think that the type advantage might actually be for Ricky, thanks to this 𝗂𝗂𝗪.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, this is so interesting. Usually we see some swaps, but no tamer has swapped out. No one is flinching. No one's trying to make a read there. They're just keeping their Temtems on the board until they go down. And now they find each other with the almost similar Temtems. Both have the 𝗬𝗵𝗺. Man, 𝗂𝗵𝗺 and the Scunch looking quite ferocious. I mean, 𝗬𝗵𝗺 hurts the 𝗬𝗺 potentially more than Mr. Rishi's Mud Showers hurts the 𝗂𝗵𝗺. It could be even, but let's see. 𝗬𝗵𝗺 does replace the bird, anticipating something like that Thunder Strike. Let's see.
Yeah, 𝗬𝗏𝗡𝗁𝒻𝗈 onto this 𝗬𝗇k, not going to accomplish too much. Uppercut onto 𝗬𝗵𝗺 going to accomplish a lot more. But Thunder Strike towards this 𝗬𝗇k, it's good neutral damage, it's strong special attack damage, and it means that a double up from that exact same attack will kill this 𝗬𝗇k and potentially also kill 𝗬𝗺.
Yeah, so a bit of a checkmate. Let's see, is there anything Mr. Rishi can do to try to avoid an attack like that? The uppercut did 30%, so doesn't seem to be having enough to take down the 𝗬𝗵𝗺 in a single blow. So maybe looking at the 𝗂𝗵𝗺, but at the same time, Mr. Rishi's 𝗬𝗵𝗺, potentially the slowest Tem, where we'll see whoever has the speed arrow. So I don't think either Temtem can be brought down, but the Ricky Tan doesn't care about getting the kill, just bringing in Scunch to get those hold moves online.
Yeah, I definitely like the Scunch coming in here. That means that, you know, 𝗬𝗵𝗺 is afraid for its life next turn as a potential Oshidashi is coming through. It eats the uppercuts just fine thanks to that melee typing, and the Mud Shower as well isn't going to do very much damage.
Wow.
So now, I mean, Savage Suplex, Oshidashi, or Haida-Uchi are all available. The following turn, Ninja Jutsu, we saw how much damage that did last time. I mean, this is pretty scary. If another perfect jab hits this 𝗬𝗺 or even the 𝗬𝗵𝗺, they could both be going down to a single attack.
Yeah, so 𝗬𝗇k, maybe knowing his time is running out, going with the last ditch turbo, but Savage Suplex will be bringing that 𝗬𝗇k down. 𝗂𝗵𝗺, I think it overexerted or might go down swinging. But Thunder Strike just to do some more damage on the Skunch, and damage it does, bring it down to 29%. But as you said, 𝗂𝗍𝗃𝗃 is online. However, this +1 speed Voliran making things very interesting, because I believe we have not seen the Hyperkinetic Strike. So that should take care of ETE. But of course, that Grumper could just come out to eat it.
Yeah, that's definitely what it looks like is happening here. Grumper comes in for that Skunch. HKS comes through onto the Grumper, so that's not going to do very much damage. Although Grumper down to 51%, and Mud Shower followed up here could do quite a lot of damage. 𝗀𝗀𝗇𝗏 not fighting back as hard and overexerting. Mud Shower towards Grumper from 51 down to 19. That means Grumper is not happy and healthy to fight this Voliran. And 𝗏𝗍𝗃𝗃's Grumper is still max HP.
Yeah, and look at the HP on Little Asia's Temtems. Did Mr. 𝗏𝗍𝗃 bringing it back what seemed to be going rough for him, but as you said, 100% Grumper. Little Asia overexerted his Sapphire. Oh, going with Feather Gatling on the Grumper, just hoping the Mud Showers will be enough. It will be enough, but who goes first is the question. And not Little Asia, Mr. 𝗏𝗍𝗃 going first. Man,
yeah,
I'm having a rough time.
Turbo. There's the turbo earlier on that made Grumper +1, and I mean that was just such a big advantage. It was the little things from 𝗏𝗍𝗃 just staying in, doing damage every turn, not making any swaps when he doesn't need to, and with a really smart turbo choreography, 𝗏𝗍𝗃 2-0, moving on to the finals.